Hey everyone, it's Melinda with Tailored and Teal, and welcome back to another What Sold video. These are sales on Poshmark, Mercari, and eBay from March 16th through March 31st of 2024. If you didn't watch my last What Sold video, I explained that I turned my closet, stores, and pages off so that no one could purchase from me from March 9th through March 22nd. So technically these are only sales from March 22nd through March 31st, which I think the last week and a half was better than the first week and a half of March. So happy to share these sales with you. Normally we would start on Curtsy, but I had no sales on that platform. So we'll skip along to Mercari where I had 2 sales. The first sale was a Michael Kors non-iron gray and white pinstriped button front shirt. It was a regular fit. It sold for $20 and that was an offer the customer sent to me. And I think that this shirt came out of a ThredUp men's rescue box, if I remember correctly. And then the last sale was a lot of 8 Saray. That was the brand name, Saray. Silver tone Jingle Bell Cha-Cha ankle bracelets. I put these all together in a lot because they weren't really worth selling them individually. And my method worked because someone sent me an offer for $10 and I accepted. So of my 2 Mercari sales, I had a total of $30 in sales, $5.21 in fees, giving me a profit of $24.79. And now moving on to Poshmark, where I only had 3 sales. Even though I didn't make a ton of sales on Poshmark, I am happy with the prices that these 3 items sold for. The first sale on Poshmark was a pair of Cole Haan winter boots. They were black suede leather and faux fur lined boots. I believe these came out of a Helpsy Source boots box, which that box has done very well for me. I've purchased it twice. They sold for $32 and there was discounted shipping. The next item was a J. Jill open knit, bright green, yellow drop sleeve sweater tunic. This was like highlighter green / yellow. It was actually very difficult to get the exact color in my pictures, but I think I managed to do it. It sold for $15, which was an offer the customer sent to me. And then the last item was a free to me item. This was a new with tags, fly curvy, navy blue, flutter sleeve, floral mesh overlay dress. It sold for $36 with discounted shipping. This is actually a dress that my mother-in-law purchased for my wedding out in Las Vegas. It didn't fit her the way she wanted it to, and she couldn't return it because it was past the time. So she handed it off to me to list online, and it sold within a couple of months of being listed. So of my 3 Poshmark sales, I had $83 in sales, $16.60 in fees. I gave out 2 shipping discounts, which is $4.04. My average sales price for each of the 3 items that sold was $27.67. Moving on to eBay, where I had 11 sales. The first sale was a home interiors and gifts Camille porcelain elegant lady figurine. She was in a beautiful like blue and pink dress. She was 9 inches tall. This came from my mom, so it was 100% free to me, and she sold for $16.99. Next up is a hematite cylindrical beaded heart pendant necklace that had a little quartz bead accent right in the middle of the heart. The rest of it was gunmetal gray. This did have a few chips in the metal around the heart, but I notated all of that. Someone sent me an offer for $5. Not really what I want to be selling my jewelry for, but I've had it for over 3 years, so I was perfectly fine with that. And I still made a profit of $2.57. Next up is an Ink Internationals Concepts black faux leather crossbody purse with gold hardware. This came out of a ThredUp rescue box. I don't remember which one in particular, but it's been listed for quite a while, since 2021, and it sold for $16.14. And the interesting thing about this sale is that the person who bought it lives in my town. We only live 7 miles away. Thankfully, their shipping was quite cheap. Next up is another lady figurine, but this one was returned. It actually got returned to me today, but I still included it in my numbers. It was a vintage porcelain Victorian lady figurine with a green dress, umbrellas, and flowers, and it was made in Taiwan, but it was not branded. It was a free to me item from my mom, and it sold for $9.99. And the customer returned it because it was too small and wouldn't fit in with the rest of her Victorian ladies. I definitely put measurements in. Don't know why she didn't realize that, but that's okay. I do offer buyer paid returns, so she is out the shipping cost, but I did refund her the cost of the item. Next up is a new with tags fringe scarf. The brand was Le Accesorio, which is just accessories, I think, in English. It was a charcoal gray rectangle scarf with fringe. It was 100% acrylic. I purchased this from ThredUp's outlet center. It was in their assorted brands category. I was hoping that it was going to be wool or cashmere because on the listing they did not indicate what the fabric content was, but that's okay. I still listed it and it sold for $16.99. Next up is a Banana Republic gray burnout cotton casual tie-waisted skirt. This was a size extra small and it sold for $8. I think this came out of a ThredUp rescue box over 3 years ago, so happy to take a low offer for that. Next up is a green and yellow satin glass chunky beaded geometric shaped necklace. I did put the keywords spring because it definitely looked like something that you would wear on a spring day to church or to a fancy event like a wedding, and it sold for $10.19. Next up is a brown floral stamped thin skinny belt. It had silver tone hardware. There were no brands or tags, and it sold for $6. I purchased this from ThredUp's outlet center, hoping that it was leather because it was just super cute, but it wasn't. It was faux leather. So I was happy to accept that $6 offer because it's been listed for almost 4 years, and I did end up losing 33 cents, but glad that it is gone. Next up is a vintage Tupperware Cinderella Jubilee 1968 plastic notepad holder. This was a cute little keepsake that Tupperware gave out to everyone who attended the Jubilee in that year of 1968. My grandmother was there, and that's how I acquired this. So it was a free to me item, and it sold for $6. Next up is a lion head wood inlay large pendant wooden chip beaded necklace. I did use the keywords safari and Africa. I picked this up at an estate sale where the person living there had a very interesting collection of necklaces, but this was really the only one that I thought I could resell. So I paid around $5 for it, and it sold for $25.49. There were no brands or markings on it, but it was just really well made. And the last sale on eBay is a BOLO that I accidentally uncovered. So if you've watched any of my What Sold videos, especially ones with the vintage magazines, you know that my uncle was a collector of everything old. If it was over a certain age and it had dust on it, he probably would buy it. That was just the type of person he was. So in our garage, we have a huge trunk full of vintage educational children's books, mathematics, social studies, history, reading, you name it, it was there. So slowly I have been lotting them all together. This lot was a vintage Upton Fuller, those were the authors, arithmetic textbooks in grades 3, 4, and 6. They were made by the American Book Company. 2 of the books did not come with the answers, and 1 book did. And while researching these sold comps on eBay, I noticed something interesting. First of all, there weren't very many listed at all of any grades. Secondly, all the books that had been purchased were all purchased on the same day by the same customer. I think they purchased grades 2 through 6 or something, but they were all from different sellers. But this person was either looking for them for a collection or for another reason, or maybe it was just purely coincidental. So I decided to then move my research to Google, where I just put in the name of the book. And then I went to the pre-owned book websites, and they were selling anywhere from $25 to $35 a piece, which is exactly what they sold on eBay to that one particular buyer. So I decided, since I had 3 of them, I would list them for $60. I received a $50 offer less than 12 hours later. The customer actually messaged me to make sure that the one book did have the answers and that they were not torn out, which the book was complete, so he was happy. So for a free to me item, I made over $41 in profit. So if you're ever out in the thrift stores or at book sales or estate sales and you see these books, you might want to look them up just in case they might still be worth something. So of my 11 eBay sales, I made $170.79 in sales. I made a shipping profit of $24.05. Fees were $46.66, giving me a profit of $148.18. And my average sales price for each item that sold was $15.50. And now for my total sales from March 16th through March 31st of 2024. I had a total of 16 sales on 3 different platforms. I made $283.79 in sales. Fees were $48.46. Cost of goods was $43.02, giving me a profit of $192.31. And my average cost of goods for each item that sold was $2.69. Well, that concludes this What Sold video. Thank you so much for tuning in. And if you're new to my channel and you like these What Sold videos, I do them every 2 weeks on my channel. We would love to have you here, so please consider subscribing. And as always, I will see you in the next one. Bye!